This is The Current Buzz, a podcast powered by Oklahoma Electric Cooperative and OEC Fiber,
dedicated to teaching you what makes us different.
Welcome back to The Current Buzz. Kayla and I are here today. We have been getting a lot of questions about the building project that is happening at our headquarters here in Norman. And so we thought it would be a great opportunity to take a moment to kind of look back at the evolution of OEC and OEC Fiber.
Yeah, thank you, Autumn. Happy to be here.
One of the things that Kayla and I were just talking about that blows me away is that OEC Fiber was officially approved to launch on May 1st of 2017. That is when our Board of Trustees said, yes, based on our feasibility study, we have a lot of members who are either unserved, completely unserved, or chronically underserved when it comes to high-speed internet. And that began what we now know as OEC Fiber. What is crazy to think about is just in 2017, so we have 0 OEC Fiber employees. Kayla, how many OEC Fiber employees do we have today?
Oh, that's a great question. I myself lose count all the time because we've grown so quickly and so much over the last 5+ years. I believe we're at 50 to 60 dedicated OEC Fiber employees. Granted, a lot of us wear many hats and help out on the electric side as well, but I believe when it comes to the fiber specific folks, we've got about 50 to 60.
Which is crazy, right? And this is at a time when OEC, so the electric side of the house, is also growing at a very quick pace. As we've seen the influx, the introduction of cannabis into Oklahoma, we've seen huge growth there. We've seen economic growth. We've seen residential growth. We've seen commercial growth. So we have gone in the last decade from a company with about 150 employees to a company that now has about 230 employees. So huge growth. And that is what we've been able to do, to your point, Kayla, is as the companies have grown, really marrying the two really closely so that there's a lot of crossover. We're not duplicating services. We're able to be the most efficient with our member and subscriber money as possible as we've kind of evolved. One of the things that you were just telling me about, so one of the things that I think our subscribers don't always understand is how much our fiber build has impacted reliability on the electric side. Talk to me a little bit about what we did, what we call system hardening, but what that looks like to prepare ourselves for fiber.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the fiber side, sometimes we call it make ready, system hardening, all of that sort of stuff. So early on, as we just were getting started into the fiber side of things, we really started looking at our system and what is it going to take to add fiber to our poles, add fiber to our overall system. And one of the big first steps that we had to take is with our operations team. So they looked at our entire system, analyzed our poles, and we did a lot of pole changeouts, a lot of make ready for fiber, system hardening on the electric and fiber side. And this was an attempt to make sure that all of our poles were sturdy and ready for that additional weight of hanging the fiber lines on them. As we went through our system, this also required, vegetation management coming in, making sure that our trees were trimmed and ready to go, since communication lines are actually underneath the electric lines. So electric lines are always at the top of the poles. Communication lines are definitely below that. So we're in a communication space. So that required additional tree trimming to make sure that we were ready to go. We also swapped out a lot of poles. And as we swapped out poles, we swapped poles out. It's the co-op way, right? So this is the members' money. We want to make sure that we are creating a system that is sturdy and reliable, because at the end of the day, that's the most important part of what we do, is reliability and serving our members. So we upgraded our poles and we went above and beyond. So we upgraded to an even higher class of poles as we went through to make sure that they were even sturdier than they were before. And I think one of the impacts that we've seen as we've gone through, we have finished our fiber build to all electric members, and we continue that build today outside of our system and with organic growth. As Autumn said, we've seen tremendous growth within our service territory on the electric side. So that, of course, also means that we'll continue to build fiber in these areas as well. And what we've seen is enhanced reliability, not just for our fiber, but for our electric system as well.
It has also empowered us. So I had the privilege of riding with our Vice President of Operations, Marty Hayes, last week, and we're driving through the system. And one of the questions I asked him is, how has fiber changed the electric system? And he said, unequivocally, our restoration times and the length of outages that our members experience has decreased dramatically, simply because as our first step of our fiber project, we built out 6 fiber rings, which means our substations are connected through fiber. What we now, because of that technology, have the ability to do is essentially restore power. We call them reclosers or trip savers electronically from our office, which allows us to isolate an outage, meaning that there's a smaller amount of people who are affected. While our crews go out and fix the problem, we're able to temporarily restore or backfeed that power. None of this was possible prior to this really sturdy high-speed internet that we experience with fiber.
And I'll add even one more bit of knowledge into that. So those fiber rings are also our fiber backbone. So if we ever run into an outage in an area on the fiber side of things, we have the same ability to backfeed a lot of those areas and get that service back up and running for folks a lot faster than actually rolling a crew out to fix that area until the area is back up. So we can kind of reroute the services and get people back online faster on the fiber side as well.
Yeah, it's an incredible model. The way both the electric, Kayla, to your point, and fiber system are set up is that we have a lot of options, right? So if we can isolate the area if there's an outage or somebody is digging and they cut through the fiber, it just means fewer people are affected for a shorter amount of time, which is just absolutely incredible. To your point, with this incredible growth of personnel, of people power at OEC and OEC Fiber, we quite literally ran out of space on our campus. This is why you're seeing the addition that you will see as you drive past our headquarters right now. It is why you've not seen Kayla and I in the same place for these podcasts, because I currently do not actually have an office. We have open air office space, which has been incredible for the transition. It's been great to be right up next to each other and lots of bonding moments, but we will really, really appreciate the building that we hope to have completed by the beginning of 2025. So we have 4 buildings on our campus. 2 of those are currently complete, though not in their fully finished function, as we have people, kind of on top of each other. So once that primary building that you see off of 24th Avenue in Norman is complete, we will be very excited to welcome you into our new space.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to all of our employees who have had to kind of squeeze in, make do, bunk in with each other in offices, share an open office space. That is certainly different than it has been in the past. But as Autumn shared, it's given us opportunity to better get to know each other. A lot of the folks on the fiber side are a lot newer than the folks who have been here serving our electric members for a very long time. So shout out to the people who have been here for a long time and are now kind of accommodating all of the fiber growth and electric growth. And shout out to the newbies because they've come in a very transitional period and they've done a phenomenal job. And then finally, shout out to all of the folks who come in and visit us. I know it's been probably a little confusing learning where our lobby is and kind of rerouting your normal flow. But thank you for your patience and thank you for working with us. We're going to be really excited, and I know you all are, as soon as that building is complete.
Well, and one of the things that you have seen from us in 2023, and you'll certainly see from us going forward into 2024, is this marriage of the 2 companies. We want to make it very clear that we are one OEC, that we work together. That's why on our promotional products, on our ads, you're going to see a lot of that idea that we work really strongly together. And Kayla said it so well, that the electric side is strengthened by fiber and the fiber side is strengthened by electric. It's just an incredible team of people that we're really proud. The evolution has not been without the occasional hiccup, but I feel like we're very strong and much sturdier as a company than we would have been without the other.
Absolutely. And I know we talked about fiber kind of coming in the start of fiber when board approved everything in May of 2017. But I wanted to share a little bit more about the origins. I feel like we've talked about it before, but honestly, the story gets me so excited because I feel like it's so inherently co-op how all of this came to be in the first place. So initially, there was a magazine article that was shared with our electric membership, and it talked about how electric cooperatives were starting to kind of step their feet into the broadband space and starting to build out fiber to membership. A lot of our members read that article and they were, I think, maybe surprised, excited, both. And they started reaching out to their board members to say, hey, we read about this opportunity and we think that this is a way that OEC can uniquely serve us and their membership. So it really did start with the grassroots of our membership saying, this is a service that we desperately need and we don't have access to it today. And further, we would really like OEC to step into that space to offer that service for us. Once that happened, our board of directors went in, they did their due diligence. They did a lot of studies. They hired some groups to kind of take a look at what that could look like. We did feasibility studies. And then fast forward through all of that work, that's when things got approved in May of 2017. And the reason I get so excited about this is because that is very much the same for the electric side in the 1930s. There were groups of rural farmers who said, hey, we need power. And the for-profits aren't building to our area just because it's expensive, it's not profitable for them. So they joined together to create the electric cooperatives throughout America, and then specifically here at OEC. So it really is kind of taking that exact same path that the electric side did back in the 1930s. It's just with internet.
Well, and that's so well said, Kayla. What we've talked about this before, that fiber was a natural extension of the cooperative model because there was a need being unmet. Cooperatives were able to leverage the power of many to expand services. What we learned and continue to learn in the 2020s especially is that internet is not just watching movies. Internet gives you the ability to have e-commerce. It gives you the ability to learn from home. It gives you the ability to connect with family that's across the world. It really has broadened our horizon, and it's something that we now liken to being as essential as electricity. Just like we need to be able to turn on the lights and heat and cool our homes, we need to be able to compete in this marketplace in a way that we didn't need to before. And so it you said that perfectly. It was such a natural extension of our cooperative model.
And I think that also just goes to show how forward thinking our board of directors were in taking a look at this and really doing our due diligence. Because as Autumn said, we keep saying it, May of 2017, that was a few years ahead of what happened in 2020. And it forced all of us to go home and find different ways to connect to the world that we previously were able to just get out and explore. So folks had to learn how to work from home. Folks had to learn how to school from home. It became even more important that we were connected digitally with each other. And so our board, luckily, was very forward thinking, and it allowed us to build out fiber to these areas that needed it the most. So once we started construction, we really focused on the areas that were telling us, hey, we really have an issue with this. So through our due diligence, through our feasibility studies, we did some research into where we needed to serve first. And so we really focused on those zones that didn't have anything. And we were able to get them built out and connected well ahead of the madness of 2020. And I think it really helped make things a lot easier. I mean, 2020 was difficult for everybody, but at the end of the day, a lot of folks were already connected. So it really, really, I think, speaks to the forward thinking of our board.
Amen to that. Incredible leadership. Well, in summary, we've grown a lot. A lot has changed in the last 6 years, and we feel that we are stronger and more capable of serving our members and subscribers than we ever have been before. And as Kayla so eloquently said, we cannot wait to someday welcome you into our new building.
You can find us at okcoop.org and oecfiber.com.
Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.